Hey, it's your girl, Sean Rochelle, photographer, content creator, and breast cancer survivor. Woo! So listen, I'm about to tell y'all about what happens after you're diagnosed with breast cancer. Well, at least this would happen for me. I don't know if your hospital functions the same, but I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what happens. So your very first appointment is your big appointment. It's the appointment when you meet everybody that's going to be on your oncology team. So that's oncologist, nurse practitioner, radiation oncologist, that is your surgeon, your plastic surgeon, your social worker, like um, anybody that is on your team, like that is who you meet on that day. So the appointment was so long and so big. It was from, I think, like 9 to 3 or something like that. So I had three people come along, but they came at separate times. So it was my mother, of course, because I mean, how I'm going to my mom, she can't come to my oncology appointment. That wasn't happening. Even though my mom gets a little antsy and she kind of gets me worked up, I still had her come along. Um, there was my brother, because that's my ride or die. Y'all know it's just two of us. So I definitely had my brother come. And then my friend Keita. So Keita came. I'm glad Keita came because Keita asked lots of questions, and a lot of times she asks questions that I don't even think about. And so maybe she'll hear something that I didn't hear or whatever. But I'm glad that she came. So I met with my oncologist, nurse practitioner. I met her, the oncologist. My mom was in there, and so we're sitting in there, and then pretty much this is when they tell you what stage. They tell you what feeds your cancer. So there's three things that feed your cancer. But I'll get into that. Let me go back. So um, I was diagnosed at stage 2A. I was sitting there like, I'm right in the middle. It's 4 stages of cancer. And I was like, but I'm still like, okay, because if you find the bright side in it, to me, that's still you catching it in the beginning, right? So they're like, it is aggressive, right? My cancer was aggressive. So they call it, in the medical term was invasive ductal carcinoma, right? That's what it's called, stage 2A, and it was fed by HER2, not the hormones, not the estrogen, not the progesterone, but HER2. So that means that even after my chemotherapy treatment, I still have to take immunotherapy, which is um, me taking the medication for the HER2, right? So they gave me the rundown. They talked to me. They explained to me how and what it was. They asked me if I had any questions. Um, they asked me, my oncologist explained, she explained to me the process. Then she asked me to repeat back to her what she said so that she can know that I understood. So I did that. She was like, you got it. I know this is a lot, but this is what's going to go on. You're going to start chemo on April 11th, which was a little bit under a month from the day that I was diagnosed, which was March the 14th. So I said, okay. So she told me that I would have to get a port in my chest. I still have the port in my chest. She told me I would have to get a port. The port is how um, your chemotherapy is administered. But let me double back. So, how did I feel? I was sitting there like she told me what my chemo drugs would be. I can't call them back off to you because the names are so damn long. I wouldn't even know. They sound prehistoric, okay? However, one of the things that got me is when she said, it's such and such, because I told y'all she talks really low, really soft. She was like, I do have to tell you that um, there is a small chance that you may die from chemo. So I'm sitting there looking at her. So I'm like, what's the percentage? Like, she's like, it's 1%. She says, I've never had it happen and I've been working in oncology for 21 years. However, I do have to tell you that because that is a possibility, right? So that's the one thing about getting a cancer diagnosis. There are so many things that could happen to you that they just pretty much have to tell you all but for the most part. Some of those things, a lot of those things never happen. And then some things that they talk to you about that they said are going to happen, there are some things that they didn't even mention that would happen, well, at least for me. So I was just sitting there like, whoo. I think I teared up a little bit. My mom was, um, she was all in. My friend was all in. My brother went to pretty much the lunch part because this is when I had to take off my, my shirt, my top. So they had to, do the breast exam. And she actually, my oncologist, showed me where the tumor was because I had no idea. Like I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any pain or nothing. And she showed me where the tumor was. So I was like, man. But the good thing about her showing me where the tumor was, that means that throughout my chemo process, I could, do my own self exam and see if the tumor was shrinking myself. Um, so she showed me the tumor, where it was placed or whatever. And I said, okay, okay. Um, she asked me if I had any questions. The only question I had was, and this is again, it's the hospital. So the hospital usually doesn't go a holistic route. So I asked, and I didn't ask the oncologist. The oncologist had left out of the room by this time, and I really forgot to ask her, which sounds nuts. So I ended up asking the resident, and I asked him like, how is it, and what do people like do? Like, how is it like if I decided or people decide they want to take the natural route? And he turned to me and said, people don't usually do good. And I'm like, okay. However, the natural route was something I thought about. The natural route was something that was asked of me. But I'm going to be completely honest. I love natural remedies. I love natural products. Hell, my hair is natural. But the reason why, in complete transparency and honesty, that I did not go the natural route, and I do believe in a natural route, but I didn't go the natural route because, like I told you, my main focus was my children. I have 3 children, and I'm like, I don't want to go the natural route and be trying to figure out what foods are going to work for me and how fast they're going to work. And if it doesn't work, then I got to try something different. And I didn't want to mess around and get to stage 3 trying to do the food, and then like be trying to work my way back. So I just went on ahead and did a chemo. I only had to do 6 treatments, but that's where my thinking was. Um, I told myself I could do natural, and I can do, the traditional route or whatever. So I did do some research, and I found this guy. I don't know if I found him or someone sent it to me, but this man that works with mushrooms, and he pretty much cured his mother of breast cancer through turkey tail mushroom capsules. I am not saying to you that this is a cure. I am not saying this to you. This is just a disclaimer. I'm just saying this is what I read. So, in addition to my chemo, I was taking turkey tail mushroom capsules. Um, there was some other stuff that I was taking too, but I went to the health food store, and she told me to drink raw celery juice, like just straight celery juice. Don't add anything to it. I did not do that. However, I'm probably gonna be doing that every day. I have a juicer now, but like the benefits, she said the benefits of raw celery juice was amazing. So when you are diagnosed with something major, do know that people are going to hit you with a boatload of information between your doctors, between people that love you, between what you're thinking on your own. It's going to be so many mixed feelings and so many. I'm like, I want to go natural. Then I feel guilty for doing the chemo. Then I feel guilty for, like I know that I wholeheartedly believe in natural, but I don't know if I got time. It's so much stuff going on. Um, no one said that you couldn't do both. No one said that it had to be one over the other. Ultimately it's your decision, and you advocate on your own behalf. Ask all the questions. I encourage you at any of your doctor's appointments, whether it be cancer, some other type of illness, or just a routine checkup. Like, you know yourself better than anyone. So always, 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 um, Don't be afraid to advocate on your own behalf. Don't be afraid to say, I'm gonna take this part, but I'm not gonna take that part. I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna do that. Or I'm okay with this whole regimen. Um, it's your decision and it's based off what you feel inside. So in all honesty, before I started seeing my first major appointment, I prayed. I prayed that God gave me an oncology team that knew exactly what they were doing and it was a perfect fit for me, right? I prayed that he sent people whose job this, like, I know that this was their job, but whose passion, like who really, really, really was going to give me the ultimate care. And when I tell you I've gotten that, baby, I've gotten that. Like, I to this day, like, my oncology team is absolutely amazing. I am in the best hands, have been in the best hands, continue to be in the best hands. All praise to Henry Ford because, baby, they take good care of me. But yeah, so your first appointment is going to be your big appointment with all kind of things going on. You're going to be a little overwhelmed. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. You're going to be up. You're going to be down. Um, it's just going to be a lot going on. Um, However, I knew I had it. I knew I was going to be okay. I knew that I was. Because one thing about me is my faith is always on 100. Like, I'm human, so I'm gonna get a little bit worried, but I always go back to my faith. And I just knew I was gonna be okay. I'm like, this is a process, and that phrase, it sounds so cliche, but you really do have to trust the process, and that's where I was with it. Like, I'm gonna just trust the process. Um, is it a lot? Yes. Is it different from anything I ever did before in my life? Yes, but I'm going to trust the process and know in my heart of hearts that I'm going to ultimately be okay. And regardless of what people say to you, regardless of what type of appointments you have to go to, regardless, even if the doctor tells you something negative, you have to know in your heart of hearts that you are going to be okay. Baby, your faith has to be 100 when you're going through this process, and you have to know that you're going to be okay. Um, so from that appointment, just the appointment started rolling in. Baby, when I tell you my chart was off the hook, my chart was off the hook like a cash app, baby. Like, if my chart had a sound, it would sound like a cash app, because that's how many appointments they was hitting me with. You gotta go here, you gotta go there, you gotta go to get echo, you gotta go to get this. So let me also tell you. So this was my thing. So chemo was every 3 weeks. Um, in addition to chemo being every 3 weeks, I had to make sure I got my blood drawn every Friday, because chemo was on Monday, but you still get your blood drawn every Friday because they want to see how your numbers are. From there, I also, because two of the treatments, two of them were chemo drugs, and two of them were the drugs to fight the HER2, which is the stuff that feeds the protein that feeds my cancer. So um, I did the blood once a week. Oh, because of the HER2, I have to go every 3 months to get my heart checked, right? Because those two medications could cause heart complications. So every 3 months, I get an echo. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, there is. Before, when I first started, there was a pre-chemo appointment, and then so pre-chemo is like the appointment where you meet with your oncologist. Um, you meet with your oncologist between every chemo session. Um, she asks you any questions. Have anything changed? Has your diet, your taste buds, like, it's all these questions that they ask you. Um, but with all of that stuff, I knew I was gonna be okay. Like, I got my blood checked every Friday. Between chemo, talking to my oncologist. My oncologist even was like, here's go my card, on the back is my cell phone number. Don't send me a message in my chart because I take too long to answer. I don't look at my chart like that, but I will. But send me a text message, and I'm gonna text you back. I'm like, okay, cool. That made me feel really good, really comfortable. My nurse practitioner was always open. I could always text her and ask her anything I needed, and she would be Johnny on the spot. Like I said, my whole oncology team was amazing. So during your cancer journey, it's gonna be so many negative things that you are going to hear. You really, really, really have to find the good in all of it. Hold on to it and celebrate all small wins. Again, I am Sean Rochelle. photographer, content creator, and breast cancer survivor. I thank you for watching and following my journey with me.